Good morning everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with another main meals of the week video. I'm going to be showing you what we had for dinner between Monday and Sunday. So I'm going to pop all the clips in now for you to see what we've had, and then I will see you at the end. So for Monday's dinner we had a roast dinner. This is Rebecca's. We've got peas instead this time, just because I didn't buy cauliflower. I thought it might be nice. It was actually a very nice roast dinner. And the chicken turned out really, really well in the air fryer. We've got homemade Yorkshire puddings. We've got roast potatoes also done in the air fryer. Some garlic and herb ones. We've got carrots. We have got mashed potato. And me and Simon also have some parsnips done in the air fryer with the roast potatoes. Tuesday's dinner. So we've had some mishmash dinners this week because of the freezer problems. So we've actually got spaghetti bolognese without the spaghetti and with some zigzag fries instead this time. So these are the girls' dinners. Rebecca wanted her bolognese separate from her chips. It was actually quite an interesting dinner. Very different to have chips with it. It was actually quite nice. It worked pretty well together. So I separate the girls' spaghetti bolognese from ours this time. So I cooked the mince, added the passata, and then I split it into two different saucepans. So in the girls' one I added some garlic, some salt and pepper, mixed herbs, and also some onion granules as well. And then in mine and Simon's I added the same stuff, but I also added in mushrooms that I'd cooked separately and also onions. So this is mine and Simon's now. Also got a bit of cheese on the top. The girls like to have very mild cheese, whereas me and Simon like to have either mature or extra mature cheddar. I tend to buy mature cheddar because that's something the girls will have sometimes as well. Generally in cheese sauces or things like that, I use the stronger cheeses as well. And it made a nice change actually to have something a little bit different. The Wednesday was another mishmash dinner. It's use up things in the freezer week. So we've got frozen broccoli, frozen cauliflower, and previously made frozen cheese sauce here. And I've just made a cauliflower cheese basically out of what I had. Or broccoli cheese, I'm calling it, sorry. And a bit of cheese on the top. Because the cheese sauce, when you defrost the cheese sauce, so I cook it over the hob just to defrost it, it does go a little bit funny. But I always add extra milk. And once it's cooked through, it does usually work pretty well. It goes fine. It can go a bit lumpy to start with, but I add extra milk and a little bit of extra cheese afterwards as well. So this is what me and Simon and Rebecca had. Hannah doesn't like cauliflower cheese, so I did some separate vegetables for her instead. I just kept a portion of the broccoli and cauliflower out and cooked them in the microwave separately. But Hannah had a couple of sausages, and we all had some homemade chips this time rather than oven chips. I think by this point we have a big bag of chips, but they were at someone else's house in the freezer, so I couldn't access it too easily. Got chips flying all over the place. But there we go. As long as we're eating, you know, it's not the meals that I'd originally planned. Sometimes things come up and you have to change your plans. This does not happen very often to us, but we made it work for this week. There we go. And Thursday we just had a tea. So this is my barbecue-based pita pizza. That is Hannah's. She got tomato-based pita pizza. Rebecca's already had hers. The girls have got some chocolate cake from Waitrose that they had left. And we all got a bowl of fruit each. We got strawberries and grapes. Then I have a yogurt, a banana, some crisps, and if I'm still hungry, which I very much doubt, one of these millionaire cookies. Then the girls have got one of these to try, Belgian chocolate mousse each. They have said that they were very, very tasty. A little bit thicker than the normal mousses that they would have. Hannah's got banana, some Pombear crisps. Rebecca has got a chocolate mousse. She's got some mini cheddars. That was what they chose themselves. She's got a satsuma. She'd already had a satsuma before that, and obviously she's eaten her pita pizza already. Simon's had his and gone off to work already. Friday was fajita day. So fajitas, I always do them sort of everything separately, and people can put in what they want. So we've got wraps, we have got chicken there with salsa on it, we have got cooked onions and peppers, that's mature cheddar. Then Rebecca's got, these are just for Rebecca really, some chopped raw peppers. These are for anybody, but Hannah really likes the tomatoes. And that is the girls' mild cheddar. And we've just got some romaine hearts lettuce. We like to just pop a bit of everything in our wraps really, and some chips. As of course, like I've said, we're going to have chips with pretty much every meal this week. This is what mine looks like finished. A little bit messy, but it tasted really good. Saturday's dinner was Mexican chicken and rice, and I did want to do this in the end, although it's not a freezer item. Same with the fajitas, basically because I'd bought a load of peppers and things like that, and I also didn't want them to go to waste. But this is really, really filling, really tasty. I do have a recipe video on this if you wanted to try it out. I will link it at the end of this video for you to click on and have a little look. So you've got all sorts of goodies in there. We've got sweet corn, beans, we have got, I can't remember everything. There's peppers. There's an awful lot that goes into this, but it's very, very tasty, and topped off with some spring onions. It's delicious. Sunday, now this is a long section of the video. We had our first ever barbecue. It was only a mini barbecue with like a disposable one, but it went pretty well actually. So I did these in the house because we only bought a little mini barbecue. So I'm making some vegetable skewers at the moment, and these were a bit of a pain to chop up actually. Corn on the cob was much, much harder to chop than it was to push onto those skewers. So these ones are the girls. They don't really want any of the other vegetables and things, apart from the tomatoes and the sweet corn. Rebecca wants some halloumi with hers. So we've got some courgette there. We've got some yellow pepper, red pepper. So the peppers are mine and Simon's. Rebecca's going to have just some raw pepper. So as I said, I've done these ones in the house only because I bought a new pan and like a griddle pan. And I thought I'll do those in the house to save a bit of space on the barbecue because we've only got one little one just to try it out. And they did really well on the pan. I just had them on low. I just kept turning them regularly and they worked out really well. So there's some halloumi. This kept breaking because if anybody who's ever used halloumi is watching this, you know it just falls apart in sort of in the middle section. It can do. So those two are ready to go. That's some for the girls. We'll all have a couple each. Simon's going to have some corn on his. So I'm just doing some extra ones for the girls there. That one is Rebecca's because there's halloumi on that. There we go. Some fall into pieces. It's very tasty though. Very, very tasty. And it cooked really well. They took a little bit of time. And what I did when some were ready and some were not, I just wrapped some in foil just to keep them warm. There we go. Another one. Right, these ones are mine and Simon's. We've also got some mushrooms and some red onion on ours. There's my new pan and my new cooker. Love it. I'm actually really enjoying it. So that's really good. And they fit on there perfectly. So there's a few, like I said, I wrapped the others in foil once they were ready. And this is some of the burgers and things. Me and Simon have got 2 Heck chicken burgers and they were really nice. They're a bit wet actually, so they did stick to the barbecue to start with. But they were really, really nice in the end. And that is Rebecca's burger back there. Hannah didn't want a burger, so she's got some extra sausages. So I've done these 4 so we can all have a hot dog each, but I will do extra sausages for Hannah as well. I think the mistake that I made with the barbecue was using frozen sausages. I didn't think in advance to get them out of the freezer, so that's a mistake that I won't make next time. I will definitely use fresh sausages. As you can see with this one, yeah, sticking to the thing, isn't it? But do you know what? It tasted lovely, so I'm not going to complain about that. It was a bit of a funny shape, but it's fine. It's all good. It tasted great. Here we are, pretty much ready now. Taking mine and Simon's chicken burgers off. And I'm going to go and sort them out for us to eat. That's what we're having. So we've got rolls. Mine's at the back on the left, gluten-free ones. Got fruit if anybody wants it. There's bits of pepper and cheese and mushrooms and stuff left over. But honestly, I was going to do jacket potatoes with these. I'm very glad I didn't because we were super duper full up. So that is a bit of burger relish there on that one. That one is Simon's. I'm just plating up. There was more than this. We just couldn't fit any more on the plate. And obviously different things when you're doing a barbecue. Not everything cooks at the same time. I thought I'd have a go at making this as well. I just thought it might taste nice. So we've got some sweet corn, some grated cheese. I've just microwaved it for a minute. We've got some nice cheesy sweet corn there. I thought that might taste absolutely delicious, and it definitely does. So yeah, just got some of that. The girls really liked this as well. There's quite a lot of cheese in there, but you know, I'm not going to complain. I love a bit of cheese. So that was what we've had this week. That was our second roast dinner that I've managed to cook in the air fryer. It went much better this time, I have to say. I did the chicken I cut the chicken breast all in half lengthways. So they were a little bit smaller because they were quite big before. So I was a bit unsure as to whether they were cooked properly. So I cut them in half lengthways. We had 3 in one air fry drawer, 3 in the other air fry drawer. Then I popped a little bit of olive oil on it and sort of rolled it over in it. And then a little bit of salt and pepper on them. And I cooked them on 190 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Then I turned them over that way and swapped them around a little bit. And then I cooked them for another 10 minutes on the same. And they came out pretty much perfect, actually, I would say. So I'm very pleased with that this time. And I would definitely do that again in the air fryer. Roast potatoes seem to do quite well in there anyway. So yeah, that was quite a good experiment, actually. Not having a cooker kind of forced me into having to do that, which probably is a good thing, because I think these new like gadgets and stuff that come out, I know air fryers have probably been around for quite a while now, I just haven't used one. Can be a little bit sort of daunting, you know, like you're used to cooking in an oven. It just doesn't seem possible. Anyway, we managed it and it went well. So, Mexican chicken and rice, absolutely love that. Girls had spaghetti bolognese, I think. No, I can't follow this, can I? Can't follow this meal plan. Right, the meals that we've had this week were not the meals that I was originally going to be cooking. I was just looking at my meal list thinking, hang on a minute, I don't remember doing that. Hang on a minute, we didn't have that then. So what we actually had was a little bit different to what I told you if you watched my shopping video last week and told you what meals we were going to be having. So the oven broke, pretty much didn't work anymore, and the freezer broke and everything was defrosting. So we decided we should eat everything in the freezer instead. So we did do the roast dinner Monday, and then Tuesday I did spaghetti bolognese, but I didn't do the spaghetti. We had chips for a few days that week, only because we had chips in the freezer and they were all going to go to waste. I needed to use them up, so we had chips bolognese, which was actually quite nice. I quite enjoyed that for a change instead of spaghetti, and it stopped me throwing them away. So, you know, that's the main thing, whereas spaghetti will last in the cupboard. So, and then Wednesday I had also a bit of a funny meal. So I had some cheese sauce that I'd previously made in the freezer. I had a bag of broccoli and cauliflower florets in the freezer. So instead I did broccoli cheese. So that's what I'm calling it anyway. And that was alright. It wasn't the nicest because I don't really like frozen vegetables too much. Not things like that anyway. I find they go really strange. For me personally, I'm not keen, but it was okay. It used some more stuff up, stopped me throwing it away again, so that was good. We did end up having Mexican chicken and rice, but I think we had that on Saturday in the end instead. So, but Thursday the new cooker came and the new freezer came, so it means I can freeze and cook till my heart's content now. Yay! So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed seeing what we've had for dinners this week. The barbecue went quite well, actually. It's only a little mini barbecue, but we enjoyed it. I was more worried about the neighbours than anything else, being a bit annoyed with us, but our next door neighbour said, oh no, don't worry, it's fine, it's fine. So maybe we should invite her to join us next time, see if she wants a barbecue with us. But yes, that was it. That was what we've had this week. Like I said before in my shopping video, if you haven't seen that, there won't be a Meals of the Week video next week because I will be away. So there won't be enough meals, like a week of meals. So I'm not going to show that basically for 1 week. I've done them for 54 weeks consecutively, I think, apart from maybe 1 week. So just 1 week I'm missing. But yeah, I won't be here, so there won't be a video. But I am putting up the Becky XL's short crust pastry recipe to make a quiche base, pastry base, whatever you want to call it, case, that's the one. Anyway, so hope you enjoyed that video instead, just for this 1 week. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!